StrayAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, we're not done. Get a huge dose of personal initiative. Dre, what is that? That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including you, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is, we're going into part 3 of 5, which is the drivers, the underlying drivers of human fear. What are the things that are actually making people afraid? What keeps people from actually taking action when they say that they want to and believe that they need to take action? We'll get into that in a moment. First, let me remind everybody, I send out a text message every morning. It is guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point to start your day. I even gave this text message a name. I call it the Daily Motivation. I will send this to you for free every single morning, straight to your phone, free of charge, just like any other text message. Normal texting rates apply. All you got to do is text me at my number, 305-384-6894. Every day when that message goes out, you'll be receiving it. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. That is where I do all my coaching. If you want to be coached by me, you come to the university. You want to work with me directly, come to the university. If you want to learn at a higher level, you got to go to an institution of higher learning. Work on Your Game University. All right. There are no masks. There are no vaccine requirements. There is no wokeness. There is no DIE. And everybody is a qualified practitioner who is in Work on Your Game University. You earn your way up in the university. There's no social promotion. There's no diversity, equity, and inclusion. There's diversity of thought, equity of performance, and you get included to go do your job. That's what we do here at Work on Your Game University, just in case anybody was wondering. And I got a whole series talking about that, by the way. Anyway, Work on Your Game University is where all the next higher level things happen. So that's workonyourgameuniversity.com in case you didn't know. All that said, let's get into today's topic, which is we are on part 3. Is this part 3? Yes, part 3 of 5. And we are talking about the underlying drivers of human fear. Number 7 is the fear of inadequacy. Oh, by the way, the first 6 points are in the previous 2 episodes. Number 7, fear of inadequacy. This is a person who doesn't want to feel like they have done something, but they just were not good enough. And again, this is a feeling, not necessarily a fact. This is a person asking, what if I'm not good enough to do this? What if I don't have the skill or the talent or the fill in the blank? What if your thing can work for everyone else, but it doesn't work for me? What if I could have did that 5 years ago, but I don't think I can do it anymore? Now, these questions stem from, for whatever reason, a lack of self-confidence in an individual, which is often based on them being stuck in their heads and not taking enough action. They're spending too much time thinking about what to do, but not actually doing anything. So while, again, you may see this as irrational ideas become hardened beliefs in people's minds when those ideas are left unaddressed. Anytime somebody is presented with an irrational idea that makes no sense, but nobody catches the irrational idea and extinguishes it before it grows, then it becomes a big monster. And before you know it, this person believes it and they're living it out. All right, and we see a lot of this happening in our world today. You see this with some 9-year-old girl goes to school and she gets served with some irrational idea by some blue-haired teacher. And now 8 weeks later, she decides that she's a boy because nobody caught the irrational idea before it blossomed into a plant or a monster or whatever you want to call that. All right, this is what happens to irrational ideas, folks. If no one catches them and addresses them, then they become hardened beliefs and people start living these things out, and it's very hard to undo the longer they sit. Okay? It's like having weeds in a garden. All right, the longer you let those weeds sit, the less chances you have of actually having a garden. You got to catch them when they show up. So as a salesperson and a professional persuader, that's you. You must address these irrational ideas that people have. Don't call them irrational. You just have to work around these ideas and show them that these ideas are irrational. You got to break people's false beliefs is what you have to do. Good salespeople do this all day, every day. So the fear here is the reason why anybody who sells anything in a consulting, coaching, or training space, we all include some element of mindset in our offerings. Now, me, I put mindset front and center. Not everybody does that, but I do. I put mindset front and center in what I do. You come into Work on Your Game University, understand mindset is going to be one of the main things that we work on. You might think what you need is a sales funnel or new ads or this process or that process. And hey, maybe you do need those things. But understand, without the right mindset, those things will not change the outcomes that you're getting right now. Mindset is one of the main things we do at Work on Your Game University. And mindset does not necessarily mean I got to teach you discipline or confidence or mental toughness. You may have plenty of it. It's the way that you are using it and the way that you're thinking about certain things that we have to address before we start doing those things. That's what I mean when I say mindset's a foundation here at Work on Your Game University. So if your thing is, I want to learn how to sell more of my books, I want to book speaking gigs, oh, we're going to do that. We absolutely will do it. And guess what? We're going to work on the mindset around how you sell those books and how you go about booking your speaking gigs. That's what I mean. But everybody, just in case anyone was wondering what that meant. So the most important thing that needs to change in any person out there who wants to make change in their life is they need to change the way they are thinking about the thing that is giving them the trouble. When you change the way you're thinking about it, then you give yourself options for doing things differently, regardless of what you think the problem is. All right, all that said, number 8, we're talking here today about the underlying drivers of human fear and what you need to do about them as a salesperson. Number 8, fear of making the wrong decision. It's a person who says, I've done things before that ended up being a wrong idea, and I don't want to make that mistake again. So how can I be sure that doing this thing with you, Mr. or Mrs. Salesperson, is the right thing to do? You will come up against this a lot, and you better have tools for addressing it. Otherwise, you're going to lose a lot of sales. These are the questions and comments that come up at the last minute when someone is seriously considering doing something with you. This usually comes up when someone is really considering pulling the trigger. They are qualified, they are open, they are willing, but now their fears are starting to pop up. This is one that you got to get. You got to close this one. When I say close, that means you actually get the deal done and you get the money. That's what it means to close. Any of you who isn't in sales, you don't know the lingo. This is what comes up at the last minute. This is a last minute objection. This is not really an objection. It's really a complaint that comes out from people. You better be ready for this one and handle it deftly. Okay? Because this person is considering doing something that's going to push them out of their comfort zone. They're about to cross the threshold. They're about to do it, but their comfort zone is not going to go down without a fight. All right, the comfort zone is the comfort zone because it does not lose members easily. The comfort zone is the comfort zone because it does not lose members easily. Meaning, anytime a person is about to leave the comfort zone will fight to keep you. It will fight to keep them there. And it fights by throwing all of these fears out there that are deeply emotional, but on a, again, objective level, irrational. But it doesn't matter. They don't have to be rational. All right, something's deeply emotional. Doesn't matter if it makes no sense rationally at all. So this is what the comfort zone does. It starts throwing out everything it can to scare people back into the cave that they've been living in, the jail that they've been living in. Fear of the wrong decision is one of the comfort zone's prominent scare tactics. So your job as a persuader is to show people that dealing with you or your product or your service or your program is the right decision. And this is a common way that this is often done is through things like testimonials and case studies of success stories of others who have had the same fears that they have, yet they move forward anyway. So if you have a single mom with 3 kids who's not sure she's going to have the time to go through your course, then it'd be good if you had some testimonials of other single moms with 3 kids who thought the same thing. I thought I wouldn't be able to do the course because I had all this stuff going on, but when I got into the course, I saw how easy it was and I got through it quickly, and salesperson ABC helped me out and it was great. If you're a single mom with 3 kids and you're thinking the same thing I was thinking, you should do it because this is what happened. That will help you get the next single mom with 3 kids to sign up for your course. That's, again, in the form of testimonials and case studies. Almost anything you see sold online, you see plenty of testimonials, case studies, user feedback. Look at a website like Amazon. All right, it was one of the things you look at before you buy something. You look at the reviews, right? You read the reviews. When people are selling anything, courses, programs, things like that, usually there's some type of testimonials that you'll see, whether it's with a picture and a name and the quote, or their videos or their before and afters. Like personal trainers are great with the before and after pictures. Those things are all what? That is all showing you that there are other people who have been in the same situation that you're in and they got results. So that means you can get results. This is also known as social proof. And this is very important if you're selling anything. You need social proof. People want to know that they are not the only one doing a thing. They want to see that other people have done it, other people that look and smell and act like them and think like them have dealt with the same thing and they got a result so that they know they can get a result. This is the way human beings think. Remember, human beings are creatures of habit. We are also social creatures. We want to see other people doing the same thing that we're doing. And as a general rule, human beings are followers. We want to follow the crowd. We want to see what everybody else is doing and do that. Even though I tell you that you probably should never follow the crowd, the human nature is to follow the crowd. So y'all got to be able to hold both of these ideas in your head at the same time. The people that you're dealing with are generally doing a lot of the stuff that I tell you personally not to do, but you got to meet those people where they are, because there are way more of them than there are of us. You got to meet them where they are if you're going to persuade and influence them to action. So you got to be able to hold both of these ideas in your mind at the same time and understand when to use each one. We call this compartmentalization. I got a whole episode of this show where I talked about this concept. If you have not heard it, that is episode number 1362, by the way. So if you're paying attention, you'll notice that many of these elements are present in almost anything you see sold online. Is the social proof, the testimonials, the case studies. Go to any website where somebody's selling something, you're probably going to see testimonials. Number 9, we're talking the drivers of human fear and what you need to do about them. Number 9 is the fear of missing out, also known as FOMO. Now, this is a fear that starts to go in the opposite direction. Now, this is different than most of the ones we talked about so far in this series, because this one goes the opposite direction. FOMO is a fear that people use when they tell you that there is a deadline on offer, a product or a service, or someone has an event and tickets are about to sell out, or someone has a certain price on a product, but if you don't buy it at the early bird price, then the early bird price goes away and then the higher price actually sets in. So that's what FOMO is. FOMO is about, if you don't do this right now, you're going to lose something. Whereas most of the fears we've been talking about up to this point have been, if you commit to doing this now, then you're going to lose something. So this is people trying to push themselves away from commitment. FOMO is about drawing you into commitment. Everybody understand the difference? So FOMO is trying to draw you in and make you commit, whereas the other fears we've been talking about for the most part up to this point have been about what will go wrong if I do commit. FOMO is about what will go wrong if you don't. All right, so it's going in the opposite direction. And FOMO works. And many of you have seen this before. How many of you have ever bought something because it was on deadline, or because they told you it was only this many left and you believed them? And they said, if you don't do it now, then the price is going to go up and you don't want to pay the higher price, so you want to buy it right now. I definitely have done this. I've definitely been driven to take some action because of FOMO in the past. Many things, as a matter of fact. Remember when I was like maybe 19, I got a ticket, a speeding ticket or something like that, and I hadn't paid the ticket. A certain amount of time went by, I didn't pay the ticket. I got a letter to my home that said, if you don't pay this ticket, or at least start a payment plan to pay this ticket within the next week, we're going to put out a warrant for your arrest. That's what it said to me. And that was FOMO. Now, I feared missing out on my freedom because I believed them. And I went and I at least started a payment plan. I don't know if I paid the whole thing or I started a payment plan to pay that ticket, because I was dealing with the FOMO of losing my freedom if I didn't pay that damn ticket. So I went and got that ticket taken care of. So that's FOMO. That is a form of FOMO. So you want to use this when it's real, and you really will, and it really is a loss that they're going to get. They really will miss out on something if they don't take action right now. So this works as long as people are being truthful about the FOMO. Whatever you're dangling is going to go away, it has to actually go away. So don't lie and say the price is going to go up, then the price doesn't go up. Then you're lying. Now people won't believe you anymore. You lost your credibility. So when you're truthful and the tickets really will sell out, the price really is going up, the cart really is going to close, and people see that you are actually honoring this, is not just a scare tactic, they will respect it and they will follow it if they really want the thing. So if you use FOMO to move people to action, don't lie. All right? And this is something that any of you who's selling anything, it's generally, if you want to create more sales in a shorter period of time, then you often want to put some type of deadline in, because otherwise people will drag their feet and get around to things when they want to get around to them. And before you know it, they'll become those skeletons. They're sitting in their rocking chair saying, I'll get to it, I'll get to it, I'll get to it. And then flash forward, next thing you see, there's a skeleton sitting there saying, I'll get to it, I'll get to it, I'll get to it. These people generally are lazy. All right, people do not move themselves to action. You must do something to induce movement in people. Otherwise, if you just leave them to their own devices, most people will do nothing. They will sit around and talk about what they want to do, but never actually do it. You look around in life, you will notice this in 98% of the people that you come across, that they talk about wanting to do stuff, needing to do stuff, intending to do stuff, but never actually doing stuff. So again, keep this in mind. FOMO is a very powerful tool that will help you help them do something. So if you can find a way to implement this, you should. Because people who want something will hate the feeling of missing out on the thing that they actually want. Now, if people don't actually want it, then the FOMO won't work. but something that people actually want, this will get them to do something. So if you can find a way to implement this into your influence and persuasion process, use it as often as possible because it works. This has worked on me in the past. I have bought things faster than I was planning to buy them simply because the thing was running out or the clock was running low or there weren't going to be any more left or the price was going to go up or something was happening. And I was like, damn, I got to do it right now. And I did it right then. Remember, human beings, as a general rule, are lazy. We often want to delay things and we want to do things slowly. All of us, we are generally lazy. FOMO makes us do things now. All that said, let's recap today's class, which is, I believe this is part three in our series of the underlying drivers of human fear. Number 7 is the fear of inadequacy. What if I'm just not good enough? So you may see this as irrational but irrational ideas become hardened beliefs if they are left unaddressed. So what you must do is make sure that they understand that working with you, that you are going to make sure that they get the outcome that they need to get. And this is a mindset piece. So this is why mindset is the foundation. Mindset is a piece of any kind of training. Anybody who's in a consulting or training space, coaching, anything like that, mindset is a part of what we do for everybody because you have to work on people's mindsets in order to get them to get the skill set. If they don't have the mindset, then the skill set doesn't even matter. It won't serve them. Number 8, fear of making the wrong decision. This is a person who said, I made a bad decision in the past. I don't want to make another bad decision in the future. How do you assuage this? You do this with testimonials, case studies, and social proof, showing them that other people had the same fear. I understand how you feel. I felt that way too. Here's what I found out. That's your social proof. You want to have as much of that as possible. There's no downside to having more social proof. Number 9, fear of missing out. This is FOMO. This is going in the opposite direction. All the previous fears we talked about is what will happen if you do commit. FOMO is what will happen if you don't commit. So this is drawing people in rather than the fear that pushes people away. So FOMO is about the price is going to go up, the tickets are going to sell out, we're not going to have any more, the cart's going to close, nobody else is going to be allowed in, whatever it is. It's letting people know they're going to miss out on something if they don't do something right now. This is a great tool to use to move people to action at the last minute. Any of you who's ever sold anything, you had like the cart closes or when the clock strikes midnight, you can't buy it anymore. You're going to see all your sales come in that last minute simply because human beings are lazy. Human beings will like to delay everything. And we all wait to the last minute to do stuff. So since you know people like to wait to the last minute, here's what you do. You create the last minute. You tell them what the last minute is, and they will do it at that last minute. So if you want to move people to action, you got to get them deadlines because otherwise people, as I told you, are lazy. All that said, text me, tell me the best point you got from today's class. My number is 305-384-6894. Every day when the daily motivation comes out, you'll be getting it straight to your phone free of charge. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. That's where I do all my coaching, all my high-level trainings, all my frameworks, all my courses inside the university. You want access to that, you want to be coached directly by me, the only place that I offer that is inside the university. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. You will see what your options are. We will go from there. Tomorrow we will be on part 3? Yes, part 3 tomorrow in this series. Work on your game. Dre, all